Welcome to the Upgrade Era series, Career Edition, where I'm going to be sharing real career story times and break down the strategy behind the transformation. In our first story, I have to take you back to a year ago with one of my very first career strategy clients because she increased her salary by 128% in less than 2 months. And no, she did not magically become twice as qualified in 8 weeks. So here's what happened. Get a seat, get comfortable. For the sake of this story, we're going to call our client Maya. Maya came to me. She was making a little over $50K a year as a junior project manager, and she wanted to transition into construction project management specifically. Before we even had our session, I went through her intake form and started looking at her experience. And I'm reading this thing like, wait a minute, hold on. You already have your PMP, you have your Scrum Master certification, Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, and Smartsheet. At least that's what you have on your resume. You've managed project budgets and schedules, coordinated contractors, supported project controls and claims analysis, and you've worked on multi-million-dollar projects. At least that's what I'm seeing on her resume. It's not necessarily how it was worded. And you're completing additional training and construction scheduling. So I'm immediately thinking, girl, your problem is not that you're underqualified, which most of my clients are not underqualified. They're underpositioned, like Maya. And those are two completely different problems. Because when I look at what she told me she was struggling with, one of the biggest things was figuring out how to communicate the experience she already had. She knew she'd worked on multi-million-dollar projects, but she was struggling to turn that experience into strong, measurable accomplishments that would resonate with recruiters and hiring managers, aka metrics and impact. She was trying to figure out LinkedIn. She was tailoring her resume over and over again. And she was also overwhelmed by salary expectations. Coming from making $50K, she needed to heighten her horizons on what she felt like she could earn. And most importantly, she was trying to figure out how to go from being seen as someone who supported projects to someone who was capable of actually owning the project. So for Maya, our strategy wasn't about piling more credentials onto her resume or making up stuff, making it seem pretty. She already had the goods. So it was about looking at the totality of her experience and figuring out how to position what she had already built for where she wanted to go next. Connecting those two things. So we talked about how she needed to communicate the scope and the impact of the project she worked on. We talked about the transferable experience she already had that made sense in the industry she wanted to go into, construction. And we talked about the types of roles that she should be targeting. All project manager and project coordinator roles are not created equal. So we talked about her positioning, her salary expectations, and how she needed to tell a different story of her career. What was her story? Because one thing I really wanted her to understand was stop presenting yourself like you're asking for permission to become something when you're already doing it. She already had the PM experience. She understood project controls. She had scheduling and financial experience. She already knew the tools and had the certifications. So there was nothing really to manufacture there. We just needed to make sure she understood the value of what she'd already built and knew how to communicate that value to the market. And then once I gave her the play, she went and she executed. Y'all, less than 2 months later, I opened my email and I saw this. She literally said, I just pulled off a 128.6 salary increase. She had accepted a project manager position paying 120K a year plus a 5K sign-on bonus. She went from a little over 50K, y'all, to 125K in less than 2 months. And I need y'all to understand something. She didn't acquire any new skills. There was nothing to it but repositioning her. The value was there. And a lot of times that's what I see with clients. The value is there. You all just don't know how to position it or word it, and you're not comfortable with your story yet. She just needed to get the strategy to recognize it, position it, and go after opportunities that compensated her accordingly, because she also was applying for roles that compensated her close to what she was already making. She executed, applied, interviewed, showed up, and did the work. My role was to look at the bigger picture of her career and help her see what I've already seen. And when I congratulated her, she sent me another email that has stuck with me ever since. She told me that my energy and guidance helped push her through the process, and she gave me permission to share her story. It could inspire somebody else. So that's exactly what I'm doing with this series. Because I know there are people watching this right now making 50, 60, 70K a year who automatically assume that their next logical step has to be a role paying them 75, 80K. And that doesn't have to be your truth. Here's what I want you to take from this. Your current salary does not automatically determine the market value of your next opportunity. Very often, you don't need another certification or a degree. And sometimes you don't need another 3 to 5 years of experience either, even though the job description might make you think that you do. Oftentimes, you need to understand the value of what you've already built, identify where that experience is now valuable in the market, and learn how to position yourself accordingly. That is career strategy at its best. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about in the Upgrade Era series, Career Edition. If you can relate to Maya, or you have other pain points in your job search as you're navigating this current job market, follow me, like this, share it, and comment below letting me know what resonates most with you. Where do you need help? I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm also looking forward to sharing more stories with y'all like Maya's, because there's plenty more where that came from. See y'all next time.